He didn't just interrupt him. He didn't just dismiss him. Donald Trump looked straight at Keir Starmer live on TV and called him what no leader ever wants to hear: a liar. The moment the word left Trump's mouth, the room froze. Cameras caught it all. Starmer's face stiffened. His carefully rehearsed mask cracked, and in that instant, the illusion of control collapsed. This wasn't just a clash of opinions. This was humiliation broadcast for the world to see. A US president openly branding the UK Prime Minister a liar. And make no mistake, this wasn't some off-the-cuff remark. Trump knew exactly what he was doing. So what led to this public takedown? Why did Trump unleash such a brutal insult at Starmer? And most importantly, what does it reveal about Britain's standing on the world stage? Let's break it down. It started with what was supposed to be a routine exchange: diplomatic niceties, a few talking points, and the standard parade of handshakes and smiles. But Starmer, desperate to sell his image as a competent statesman, decided to stretch the truth. He claimed Britain had struck a balanced, fair, and historic deal with the United States. He insisted it was a partnership built on trust and mutual respect. On the surface, it sounded polished, professional, until Trump interrupted. With his trademark smirk, Trump leaned forward and without hesitation delivered the knockout line. "That's not true. He's lying. Keir Starmer is lying." The silence that followed was deafening. You could almost hear the collective gasp from the audience, the anchors scrambling for words, the Prime Minister's aides panicking behind the scenes. Trump didn't accuse him of being mistaken. He didn't say, "That's wrong." He chose the sharpest word in politics: liar. In one moment, Starmer's credibility wasn't just questioned, it was obliterated. And this wasn't some harmless jab. Trump went further, tearing into the supposed historic deal that Starmer kept praising. He said Britain had given away too much, gotten too little, and that Starmer was trying to spin a humiliating compromise as a victory. "You know it. I know it, everybody knows it," Trump added, twisting the knife deeper. Starmer tried to laugh it off, fumbling for words, but the damage was already done. The clip began spreading online instantly, with viewers replaying the exact second Britain's Prime Minister was branded dishonest by America's most ruthless political showman. For Starmer, this was a nightmare scenario. He built his entire reputation on integrity, promising the public he would be the honest alternative to chaos. But when Trump slapped the label liar on him in front of millions, that promise shattered. And here's the worst part: Trump's attack didn't come out of nowhere. It was a direct response to Starmer's repeated exaggerations. He talked up unprecedented access to US markets. He promised thousands of jobs flowing into Britain. He insisted tariffs were gone. But behind closed doors, officials on both sides admitted the deal was fragile, temporary, and nowhere near the sweeping victory Starmer described. Trump knew it. And instead of letting it slide, he went for the jugular. Starmer's reaction only made things worse. Rather than standing his ground or firing back, he stumbled. His voice cracked as he tried to reframe his comments, insisting he was speaking in broad terms. But it was too late. The narrative was set. Trump, the bulldozer; Starmer, the pretender. Trump, the straight talker; Starmer, the spin artist. In the space of 30 seconds, Britain's Prime Minister was stripped of authority, reduced to a man desperately defending himself against a charge he couldn't escape. This wasn't diplomacy. This was a demolition. Trump knows his audience. He knows that calling someone weak or fake resonates more than any policy detail. By calling Starmer a liar, Trump didn't just undermine the deal, he undermined Starmer's very identity as a leader. And what did the UK get in return? Headlines screaming humiliation, commentators dissecting every second of the exchange, and a Prime Minister who now looks like he can't tell truth from spin. And let's be honest, Trump isn't entirely wrong. Starmer did exaggerate. He did try to dress up a lopsided arrangement as a triumph. And when you're standing next to Donald Trump, the one man who thrives on public confrontation, that gamble is political suicide. The truth is simple: Trump respects strength, not flattery. And Starmer once again delivered the exact opposite. Before we continue, let us know what you think so far. Was Trump right to call him out? Or was this another example of Trump bulldozing his way through diplomacy? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit the like button. If you're finding this breakdown eye-opening, and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss moments like this. Because what came next after the insult made things even worse for Starmer and proved that this wasn't just a one. The insult alone would have been enough to dominate headlines. But Trump wasn't finished. Once he labelled Starmer a liar, he doubled down, systematically dismantling every claim the Prime Minister had just made. It wasn't a debate anymore, it was a live fact-check, and Trump was the executioner. Starmer, trying to regain composure, repeated that Britain had secured full access to US markets. Trump immediately cut in. "That's false, completely false." He then explained, right there on camera, that tariffs on British steel and aluminium were still in place. He reminded everyone that UK farmers were already protesting against US imports, warning of devastating competition. And then he delivered another crushing line. He knows it's not true. He knows it. And yet he says it anyway. That's a liar. The crowd erupted. Journalists scribbled furiously, commentators whispered into their mics. And Starmer's face told the whole story. His jaw clenched. His smile faltered, and for a split second you could see it. The recognition that his entire argument had just been demolished on live TV. And here's the brutal irony Trump didn't need to prepare mountains of evidence. He didn't need detailed reports or briefing papers. All he needed was confidence and a willingness to call Starmer out directly. That's Trump's strength. He simplifies, he strikes, and he leaves his opponent scrambling. Starmer. The former prosecutor, the supposed master of detail, was suddenly exposed as the man fumbling for excuses while Trump played to the audience with brutal clarity. It didn't stop there. Trump pivoted to jobs, the centerpiece of Starmer's speech. He says thousands of jobs will come from this. Where? Show me. He can't because it's not real. In that moment, Trump wasn't just questioning policy. He was questioning Starmer's honesty, his competence, and his ability to represent Britain. And Starmer had no answer. He repeated the same vague promises, the same empty slogans. Historic deal, balanced partnership, shared prosperity. But the more he spoke, the weaker he looked. For Trump, this was theatre. For Starmer, it was survival. But the more he tried to fight back, the deeper he sank. Trump accused him of selling Britain cheap and mocked his attempt to link the deal to Churchill and V. A day sneering, this isn't history. This is nonsense. The contrast was striking. Trump blunt, fiery, commanding. Starmer defensive, stiff, and visibly rattled. The media wasted no time. Within hours, headlines flashed across screens. Trump calls Starmer a liar. Live on air, humiliation for Prime Minister Britain's credibility shattered in 30 seconds. Clips of the exchange went viral, generating millions of views. Hashtags trended globally. And in every single version, the defining image was the same. Donald Trump calling Keir Starmer a liar, and Starmer standing frozen, caught between denial and defeat. The fallout was immediate. In Westminster, MPs from both sides piled on. Some accused Trump of bullying, but many quietly admitted that Starmer had walked straight into the trap. He overhyped a weak deal, hoping nobody would challenge him, only to be exposed by the one man who thrives on confrontation. Political rivals called him desperate, naive, even reckless. The word liar clung to him like a brand he couldn't scrub off. And make no mistake, this isn't just about one embarrassing moment. This is about perception. Trump, for all his flaws, projects strength. He dominates the stage. Starmer, in contrast, projected weakness, flattery, exaggeration, denial. When the two collided, the outcome was inevitable. Trump won, Starmer lost, and the entire world saw it happen in real time. But perhaps the most damaging part wasn't the insult itself. It was what followed. Because Trump made it clear that he didn't trust. Starmer didn't respect him and didn't believe a word coming out of his mouth. For a British Prime Minister, that's devastating. The UK has always relied on the special relationship with America. But how special can that relationship be if the American president openly brands Britain's leader as a liar? That single word threatens to undermine every negotiation, every summit, every handshake in the months ahead. And Starmer knows it. You could see it in his closing remarks. His voice trembling as he thanked Trump, again trying desperately to regain dignity, only to repeat the same mistake. Flattery. He said he valued Trump's leadership, praised his negotiating team, and smiled through the humiliation. Instead of pushing back, instead of standing firm, he folded. And that's why the insult hit so hard. Because it wasn't just Trump calling him a liar. It was Trump proving it in front of everyone, while Starmer stood there, unable to defend himself. So the question now is simple. Can Keir Starmer recover from this? Can he rebuild credibility after being branded a liar by one of the most powerful figures in the world? Or has Donald,